Strangely, what you do not know about genetic testing can put your family members into jail. Most people at one point in time came from another country, so a lot of people are interested in their ancestors, what their names are and where they came from. One of the most effective ways of finding this out is through online databases such as Ancestry.com and 23andMe. In particular, the genetic testing part of these websites is very helpful. I personally have used Ancestry.com to find out that my ancestors are from 3 places: England, Germany, and Poland. Also, I'm in a genetics course right now, which has sparked my interest in genetic testing. Genetic testing has come a long way over the years and is very helpful to determine family lineages. But, strangely enough, police can use this information to track down criminals. And a good example of this is the recent famous case of the Golden State Killer. He terrorized Sacramento through the 70s and 80s and has 3 popular names. Golden State Killer is one of them because he murdered over 12 people, one of them being a police officer. He also is known as the East Area Rapist because he raped dozens of people, and they still don't know the exact number. And the 3rd name he has is the Original Night Stalker, and that is just because of the terror that he brought to this area. He was very smart. He left behind no fingerprint traces. There was no strong evidence of what he looked like, and he always stayed a step ahead of police officers. Now, later they figured out that's because he was a police officer himself, but besides the point, they were only able to have one good source of information on him. That's his DNA that he left behind. At the time, it was not helpful, but when they reopened the case a couple of years ago, it proved to be a huge success. What they did is, according to the Washington Post, they put his information, his genetic information, on an online website, and they got the closest match they could. This ended up being his 3rd cousin, which they traced back to the great-great-great-grandfather of the 2. With 150 family trees, they had thousands of participants. One by one, they sorted them out until they had a handful of possible candidates for being the Golden State Killer. They ended up getting genetic samples in the Golden State Killer's case, it was a cup that he discarded into a public trash can. They got his DNA from that and compared it to the DNA sample in the 70s and 80s. It was a perfect match. The next day they showed up at his doorstep and arrested him. Now, finding a criminal like that is great. It's a success. But how does this affect you? When police officers decide to use DNA sampling to find a criminal, they first look at the Combined DNA Index System. This is according to the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. The Combined DNA Index System has DNA samples of convicted criminals already. So, in the case like the Golden State Killer, he was not convicted yet, so they could not find his DNA sample on that government-ran genetic database. So they decided to go to a third-party system. They use GED Match because they do not have to have a warrant. That is a free-to-use online database that consumers can upload as they wish. Now, this is important because websites like 23andMe have about 2 million subscribers. 2 million of them have uploaded their genetic information on there. Ancestry.com has around 1 million. But when people upload their information to these websites, it's so they can find their family members. They don't know that police can use it. Now, it's tough for police to use it. They have to have a search warrant, and there are a lot of limitations on it. 23andMe have 5 times stopped the police from getting information from their database. Ancestry.com has lost once, but even if the police get this information, the sequencing technologies for 23andMe and Ancestry.com is different from the sequencing technologies that police use in the Combined DNA Index System. So even if they get the information, it doesn't always help them. But it is a new technology. So if you don't hear anything I said, listen to this. It is a frightening but amazing technology that's coming out. And criminals like the Golden State Killer can be arrested based on a DNA sample discarded in a trash can. The problems with it is consumers publish their information online, not intending it to be used for police. And because it is so new, it's not being used often. But who knows where it'll go? Only time will tell. Thank you. Hope you learned something.